need to make an announcement to our church family tonight, and I know you'll be accessing this, and for you that will be receiving CDs, you'll be able to hear the message. When Governor Northam eases restrictions on churches in Virginia, we certainly want to have a plan to reopen and be prepared to do that. There are a lot more questions than we have answers in a lot of ways. We don't know the when of that. He's mentioned recently May 8th would be the earliest time for Phase 1. We're really not even sure of the restrictions that will be in Phase 1. It may be such that we're limited to such a small number we still can't gather. That's still undetermined. And the way I understand from the federal plan, that there's going to be 2 weeks between each phase for a time of monitoring. So as we go along, and so we don't know what the restrictions are going to be. We don't know the timing. There's a lot of things. But we are putting together a plan in place, and I just wanted to share that with you tonight, to be praying about it and to think about it. If you are part of our church family and you have a fever, if you're fearful, if you have underlying health issues, or you consider yourself at risk, whatever, you want to stay home. You'll still be able to receive the messages on live stream if you get it that way. If you get it on CD, they'll still be available to you. All those things. We want you to be included in what we're doing here, and certainly to be feeding you from the Word of God. But if you are inclined to come and be with us, and we know that many of you certainly are, and we want to make that available to you. What we're thinking about on the format is we're going to go to 3 morning worship services. There'll be a 9 o'clock service, a 10 o'clock service, and an 11 o'clock service. Now, we think about that. You say, well, our services are 75-minute long. They won't be. They're going to be 45 minutes to 50 minutes. There'll be a special, there'll be some congregational singing. I've learned over these few weeks to learn how to shorten messages and preach 25, 30 minutes, and that's been a major step for me. But we'll be able to condense these things, and the people who come and volunteer, maybe at 9 to be ushers or be whatever we're going to do, they'll be able to stay, and we'll have to spend all day, but be able to stay and maybe pick up a couple services to help. There'll be some changes. There won't be Sunday school because we can't social distance. The sanctuary, we believe, will seat somewhere between 150 and 180 people socially distanced. A family will sit. And I've asked James to sort of pan around the sanctuary to let you see what I'm looking at. But they will be social distanced by families. We're thinking about every other row. So there won't be anyone immediately behind you. There won't be anyone immediately in front of you. The person sitting beside your family will be 6 feet away. And so you'll have some distance around you. There's going to be hand sanitizers outside and inside the doors, all the doors. We're going to mark the doors with entrance and exits. If you came in from the bell tower side here, the door closest to the sanctuary would be the entrance door. The door farthest away would be the exit door, and the same on the other side. We're going to try to move traffic flow. Not congregating around the coffee bar, as again, it won't be up and functioning, is going to spread people out. We need to be aware. If you have masks at home and you want to bring those, that's fine. You do whatever you want that makes you feel comfortable. But we want to do those things, and we want people to feel comfortable. Now, you say, well, when would I come to church? And this is just a suggestion to you that will sort of give you a ballpark. If you come to the 9 o'clock service typically, just continue to come to the 9 o'clock service. If you come to the first Sunday school hour, which we will not have Sunday school, you'll come to the second service, which will be the 10 o'clock hour. If you come to the 10:45 service, which will now be 11, you'll want to come to the 11 o'clock service. So you have 3 opportunities to come to church. And you sort of can use those habits that you have now and where you attend as a gauge that will sort of spread our number around. We can seat our choir and socially distance them if we have an overflow. We're even thinking about maybe doing some other things, but we're still working on things as we go along. There won't be any bulletins handed out. There won't be an offering plate passed. Offerings will be at the back door. There'll just be a bucket there or an offering plate there that you'll be able to give. But we won't be passing out bulletins. We won't be making announcements. We won't be sharing prayer requests in the service times. All that will be online. And it will also be on our screen in the announcements. And so you'll still get all the information. You'll get everything in a bulletin either on the website or right here looking at it on the screen. But we won't be taking that time. We want to be cognizant of people's time, and we want to move these things along. There will be a nursery. Our TLC opens tomorrow. And as they open tomorrow, we're recognizing that Angie will have everything in place. We'll probably need some volunteers to help us in the nursery area. But again, you can take maybe one morning and do the 3 45-minute services, or maybe you can take a couple or whatever. We'll try to put that in place. We're trying to work out a children's church for the smaller children. It would not be in a confined room like we currently have. It would be in the fellowship hall. Ms. Lori is working on that, and we're doing some exploratory work on how we could do that. Some of those kids need to be a little close to help them to stay quiet and to do things. They'll be wearing masks and all those things. But we're in a time of transition, and we want to get back as soon as we can. We want to fellowship with people the best we can, and these are the challenges before us. Still a lot of questions, but we can do this, and we may have to make a sacrifice. When you come into service and you've always sat in the fourth row and the fourth row is now blank, I'll apologize in advance. You might have to sit in the fifth row or the third row as we go along. But anyway, that's what we're trying to do, and we want you to know that there is a plan in place, and we're waiting on Governor Northam to give us the okay, and will take us through the phases. And if we can get to phase 1 and work out some things, we'll know more by the time we get to phase 2. So continue to just pray. Thank you for what you're doing. Thank you for the offerings that you've been sending and the ways you've been doing that. We love you. We appreciate you. And we certainly miss you. This is great. And I appreciate the ADO and the encouragement from the leaders and all of that. But sure would like to see your face. And I'm hugging you right now. Have a good night.